all the fossils ever found and documented, only about 0.125% are vertebrates. Maybe we should take God at his word when he says, "I will wipe them from the face of the earth." When it comes to pre-flood fossils, there are just not very many, almost none in fact. Then the Lord said to Noah, "Enter the ark, you and all your household, for you alone I have seen to be righteous before me in this time. You shall take with you of every clean animal by sevens, a male and his female, and of the animals that are not clean, 2, a male and his female. Also of the birds of the sky by sevens, male and female, to keep offspring alive on the face of the earth. For after 7 more days I will send rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. And I will blot out from the face of the land every living thing that I have made." Noah did according to all the Lord God had commanded him. Then the Lord said to Noah, "Enter the ark, you and all your household, for you alone I have seen to be righteous before me in this time." When the flood is over, God will start populating the earth again, and all the peoples of the world today came from the gene pool of just these 8. He started with just Adam and Eve, and even Paul confirms as much in Acts 17, when he says, "And he made from one man every nation of mankind to live on all the face of the earth." When Noah and the animals come off the ark, someone will want to know how many labradoodles were on the ark. And the answer will be there were probably just 2 animals of the dog kind, and from them came all the variations that we have today. The same was true for people. We are not told what Noah looked like, whether he was red, yellow, black, brown, or white. Nor are we told Noah's features, his height, or any specifics about him. But we do know that from Noah and his family came all of what we call races of people today. In fact, we use the term race just for our convenience. The Bible teaches there is just one race, the human race. What we generally call race is really ethnicity. In fact, the genetic differences from one person to another is a paltry 0.2%. That's 0.2%. Remember those 3 million lines of genetic code? What we call racial characteristics, like skin color, facial features, eye shape, etc., is 6% of that 0.2% variation. That's 12/100%. Said another way, what seems to divide us so much amounts to so little in terms of who and what we really are. You shall take with you of every clean animal by sevens, a male and his female, and of the animals that are not clean, 2, a male and his female. Also of the birds of the sky by sevens, male and female, to keep offspring alive on the face of the earth. Answers in Genesis estimates the number of kinds of animals brought on the ark was about 1,000, and the Bible tells us that they came to Noah in pairs. Why 2 of every kind, but 7 of every clean kind? Then Noah built an altar to the Lord and took of every clean animal and of every clean bird and offered burnt offerings on the altar. There are debates over the numbers of clean animals. Many believe there were 7 pairs of each instead of 3 pairs and 1 extra. Leviticus 11 defines the difference between clean and unclean animals, but Noah lived before the giving of the law. We are not told how Noah knew which animals were clean and unclean, but he obviously knew the difference. Sacrifices to God were made before the Mosaic law, way back in Genesis 4:4, which means God had somehow communicated to man what animals were suitable for sacrifice, and then later for eating. Genesis 7:4, "For after 7 more days I will send rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and I will blot out from the face of the land every living thing that I have made." Noah did according to all the Lord had commanded him. God came to Noah in Genesis 6 to tell him that judgment is coming. Now 120 years have reeled off. The ark is complete. The animals are about to come in, and time is up. Not what God wanted, but what he must do. "I will send rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and I will blot out from the face of the land every living thing that I have made." It is probable that Noah had never seen rain because rain was not needed in the pre-flood world. Genesis 2:6, but a mist used to rise from the earth and water the whole surface of the ground. When you think of mist, think of springs of water or flows of water. Our Old English Bibles read mist, but a better translation is flows or streams. Pre-flood, there was no need for rain because God had set up his own watering system from below the surface. Perhaps so many streams that all plants could experience what the psalmist wrote in Psalm 1 when he wrote, like a tree planted by the streams of water. God announces that he will send rain, but if you recall, Moses already recorded this for us. He wrote in Genesis 2, "Now no shrub of the field was yet on the earth, and no plant of the field had yet sprouted, for the Lord God had not sent rain upon the earth, and there was no man to cultivate the ground." It is not until Genesis 7 that God announces that he is about to send rain. So it is highly likely that no one had ever seen rain before. Rain will come now and will not stop for 40 days. In fact, the rain will start and then turn to something devastating. The word for rain changes between Genesis 7:4 and Genesis 7:12. The rain in verse 4 is the one that we would use for normal rain. The word for rain in verse 12 is one that indicates much heavier rain, a deluge of sorts. For after 7 more days I will send rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and I will blot out from the face of the land every living thing that I have made. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, on the 17th day of the month, on the same day all the fountains of the great deep burst open, and the floodgates of the sky were opened. The rain fell upon the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. All the fountains of the great deep burst open. What we have here is a reference to subterranean reservoirs of water deep in the earth. God would use the water below and the water above to bring so much water that every person and non-aquatic entity would be destroyed. It is also quite likely that this is the time when the continents of the earth were formed. We know the earth that Adam had was one large landmass, and we know what we have today. If the continents were not formed in Genesis 7, then when could they have been formed? The floodgates of the sky were open. Floodgates? What floodgates? Remember what we read when we started this study? Then God said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." God made the expanse and separated the waters which were below the expanse from the waters which were above the expanse, and it was so. God called the expanse heaven, and there was evening and there was morning, a second day. Here's a drawing that shows the expanse. This is where the waters below were separated from the waters above. Points to ponder. When it comes to pre-flood fossils, there just are not very many, almost none in fact. We are not told what Noah looked like, whether he was red, yellow, black, brown, or white. It is probable that Noah had never seen rain because rain was not needed in the pre-flood world. This class, and indeed the entire school, is dedicated to helping others see that God is bigger than we think and better than we know. To get to the next video, make a note of the class number for this recording, then search for the next one. Here's a sample. If this video is number L01.1, then the next one is L01.2. And remember to like and subscribe on YouTube and follow on Rumble.